Um, awesome. Thank you, Tasha. So we'll be starting in exactly 1 minute because I honor your time. So if people will be coming in, they will have to listen to recording because we don't go backwards. The train keeps moving forward. This is one of my favorite, absolute favorite classes to teach for Black Veg because it empowers people. You probably have already heard this, knowledge is power, but putting it into practice is empowering. And because we are graced with being funded by so many people that believe in what we do and believe in helping the planet be a more healthy place, one person at a time, we're able to provide you with so much rich content and so much free stuff. And so this is why this is my favorite class. It's really all more about serving than selling. So it makes it my favorite. All right, I think we are straight up at 2. Guess I'm a little early. All right.
And just as a note, any questions or comments you guys have, I will be collecting it throughout so Tony can answer it at the end. There is one question: will the PowerPoint be provided as a resource?
The PowerPoint itself will not be provided as a resource, but all the resource information will be provided to you in a resource document, and that will make sense as we move along. Okay, hope that helps you. You can always, if you feel like you want to listen to the recording again, this will be posted on our Black Veg YouTube page along with our other library of videos. So you can always go back and revisit it whenever you need to. I hope that helps. All righty, everyone. Welcome to Food is Medicine, top 3 health hacks for vegans, vegetarians, and wannabes. This is sponsored, as I said, by the Black Vegetarian Society of Maryland and hosted by me, Tony St. Clair of True Self Total Health. I want to say thank you and kudos to you for coming here and taking time to be with us today. It shows that your commitment is to your health and wellness. And my commitment, as always, is to provide you with a content-rich presentation in a format that's easy to understand and hopefully interactive. I also know how frustrating it can be to get all this great information and then say, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with it? I'm so overwhelmed. Don't you worry, I've got you. There's going to be tools and resources and a Q&A to guide you and give you a jump start. So we're going to spend more time on the other side with the Q&A, less time with the information, because I think the Q&A is more valuable. A few housekeeping issues. As Tasha said, we're going to answer questions at the end of the presentation. We want to have a very nice, clean flow so people aren't distracted. Everyone is invited to remain muted. And if you forget to do so, Tasha is going to, she's our people wrangler. She will mute you. Also want to remind you that we're going to do a short survey at the end of this. We're going to offer you a short survey at the end of this presentation. Why is it important? Because with that short survey, everybody who completes it gets a 12-month subscription to Vegan Journal. How exciting is that, right? But there is a twist. If you want to start your subscription next month, you've got to complete the survey by 5 o'clock today. But all that stuff is going to be given to you at the end, so you don't have to think about it. Also, if you stay to the end, and this is only for you all that are here, if you stay to the end, you're going to get immediate access to 7 steps to banish bloat and have better digestion. It includes daily drink recipes to alkalize and get rid of bloating, nutrition dense smoothie recipes, and my favorite simple green healing juice tonic recipes. And of course, for you hardcore snackers, my healthiest plant-based snacks. So stay to the end to make sure you get that, because if you leave, you're not going to get it. It's only for you all. All the other resources for everybody else, but this is just for you for showing up and staying to the end. Finally, everybody who registered, you did register. If you're here, you're going to be eligible to participate in a raffle to win and receive immediate download to a healthy vegan or vegetarian recipe guide. It's a starter guide with breakfast, lunch, and dinner and juice options for those wannabes that don't know where to start. So I know that's a lot of good information, but that's how we like to reward you for taking time to take care of you. And with that, we will continue on. Well, so why do we like food as medicine, or the title? Because this is a quote: the beauty of food as medicine is that the choice to heal and promote health can begin as soon as the next meal. As soon as the next meal, right? You can always choose to be healthy. So food is either nourishing the body or breaking it down. And this is something that I like to tell my clients all the time. There's no neutral effect. Everything you're putting in your body is building you up or breaking you down. So only real, whole, minimally processed food, not those food-like substances that come in a box, provide nutrients to support your mental and physical health. So nutrient insufficiencies or deficiencies can always occur when you're not feeling your best. You feel disease or discomfort or dissatisfaction. So we're hoping that what you learned today is that nutrition, along with appropriate lifestyle practices, will give you what conventional medicine just won't or can't give you, which is a way to get well, not just feel better, right? I'm hoping that you all want to get well. That's my hope for you, not just feel better. Let's talk about me a little bit. So my name is Tony St. Clair Fish, and I welcome you again. I am the host for this webinar. I'm a functional health coach. I'm a nutritional endocrinology coach and educator. I'm a personal and professional development coach. I'm a raw food chef and instructor, and I'm also a yoga instructor. I've been the proud owner and CEO of True Self Total Health for about 11 years. I love assisting people who've forgotten or perhaps have never learned how to be healthy. That is my jam. I really love it. I also help people detoxify their minds and bodies and learn how to eat healthy foods and improve their overall health and wellness. I'm also a behavior change expert because I know it's not what you know, it's what you do with what you know. And so I help my clients bridge the gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it by relying on their own innate strength and their own intuition and wisdom, and also by helping them create sustainable lifestyle practices. I'm also proud to say I'm a functional health and wellness coach at Capital Integrative Health here in Bethesda, Maryland. I serve on their integrative health team as a coach, and I'm part of the care team for most of their patients. I love Capital Integrative Health because it combines the best of complementary and conventional care. So why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this so that you know that I'm qualified to teach this course. That's the only reason I'm qualified to make this presentation. Let's move on. Let's talk about a disclaimer. Super important. I want to keep you all safe. So if you don't want to take time to read that, because that's a lot of legal jargon, two things I want you to take from that disclaimer. One, the presentation is meant to be educational only. So it's a sharing of information based on my experience and training or the experience of experts I rely on. Number two, it's not intended as medical advice. So I'm not treating, curing, preventing, diagnosing any conditional illness, because that's called practicing medicine without a license, and the state of Maryland frowns on that. So I do not do that. If you have a condition that requires medical attention, please seek it. Number three, if you're inspired to implement a change, no matter how small, I don't care how small you think it is, I invite you and encourage you to speak with a qualified healthcare practitioner, especially if you're taking medications or you have a chronic condition. And finally, if you're asking questions on the other side of this presentation, I want to keep you safe. Do not share any personal information about your health and wellness that you wouldn't want the whole world to know, because this is recorded. Okay, just a reminder to keep you safe. Let's get to the heart of the matter. So why are you here? Maybe you eat a vegan or vegetarian plant-centered diet and you just want to learn how to maintain or create health. Or maybe you're just curious about eating a more plant-centered diet. If there's something else that you're here for, and I don't know what it is, maybe we'll address them on the other side. But those are the two reasons that I think most people are here today. If there's something different, put it in the chat and let's talk about it. Okay, so here's what you're going to learn. As promised, my top hacks, simple, very simple hacks to personalize your food plan, improve digestive health, and balance your pH. Why? Because those are the three areas that I know impact my clients the most and stands between them and good health. So just so you know, both vegans and vegetarian diets are becoming more and more popular due to their health benefits. Maybe that's why you're here. And there are many unique reasons that you might choose to adopt the vegan lifestyle. Maybe you want to prevent cruelty to animals, environmental consideration, or you're just looking to improve your health. Maybe you want to lose weight, reduce the risk of chronic disease, or you want to balance hormones. I wanted to let you know, for those of you who are wannabes, that vegan and vegetarian diets can be healthy for anyone at any age, including children, pregnant women, and the elderly. However, poorly constructed diets, might predispose individuals to certain nutrient deficiencies and dysfunctions, and that's what we're trying to avoid here. Could also predispose you to digestive dysfunctions and acid-alkaline imbalance, and we're going to be talking about the importance of that. I'm hoping that this short presentation will be a review for some of you, and it might be, And it might be impactful for others of you because it's new information. In any event, there's going to be some tips and tricks and tools based on my experience and the experience on myself and providing to other people that I hope you will support you in either going vegan, staying vegan, or vegetarian, or just adding more plant-based foods, like being plant-centered or plant-leaning, as a friend of mine says, because that's where all the good stuff is. All right, let's talk about hack number 1, personalizing your food plan. I want you to be able to customize your plant-centered plan based on your nutrition status to avoid nutrition deficiencies and insufficiencies. So it's not just enough just to eat every day, right? You need to know, since we're eating for health and wellness, we're eating for nutrition, full stop. Now, I know we eat for enjoyment and other reasons, but the primary reason we eat is nutrition. And if we're experiencing nutrition deficiencies or insufficiencies, that means that our plate is not personalized or customized enough for that. So I'm going to be sharing a good, better, best approach for your consideration. Not too overwhelming, just a little bit of information that maybe you'll latch on to and do. Let's start with the good approach. So you want to eat more whole plant-based organic food. Why? Because it's widely accepted that organic foods are better because they're grown in nutrient-rich soil and they're free of pesticides and other sides, right? They kill small organisms, but they'll kill us too. We're just bigger. It just means it takes more, but it will kill us too. Eat more phytonutrient-rich plant foods. Think the rainbow. So the term phytonutrients, and I'm just going to read this because I think it's important that you know in case you don't know, the term phytonutrients is a broad name for a wide variety of compounds produced by plants. Then they're primarily found in fruits and vegetables, beans and grains and other plants. Each phytonutrient comes from a variety of different plant sources. So it has different proposed effects on the body. Now, some researchers estimate there are 4,000 phytonutrients. Scientists have identified thousands of them. However, they've only researched a fraction of them. So the common name for these phytonutrients, you might be familiar, are antioxidants, flavonoids, flavons, and carotenoids, just to name a few. And we can answer more questions about that if you have any on the other side. But I think I really want to spend a little more time in this area because this is an area that I think many people, they eat the same foods over and over again and they don't get the richness that of the diet, the full spectrum. So I'm going to read a little bit more about how you get these phytonutrients. Again, phytonutrients found in plant foods, fruits, vegetables, beans, and grains. So if you maintain a balanced eating pattern that includes the rainbow, and then you eat a variety of that rainbow, you're going to end up having good health. Now, barring any bio-individual stuff that you may have going on because of genetics or chronic condition, but for the most part, if you just do this, you're going to be good. You're going to be golden. Let's talk about the better approach. Again, we talked about how important it is to know your nutritional status so that when you build your plate, when you do your food plan, it's based on you knowing your body, not just eating because it tastes good. So one way you can do that is self-assess your nutrient status. And I've included in our resources document at the very end, a self-assessment test. Now it's pretty simple. You just have to make sure that when you're doing the test, that it's based on your real self, not your idealized self, right? So it'll have various symptoms and signs. Let's say for vitamin A, it'll have various symptoms and signs like maybe your eyesight is failing you, your skin is dry. Those are the things that you want to check off. And that'll let you know that that's an area you want to pay attention to. And those are the foods that have those nutrients you want to add to your diet. So you eat more eat more nutrient-rich plant-based on those results, not just eating willy-nilly. Because again, by the time people come to me and they say, oh my gosh, I eat healthy, but then when I look at their nutrient deficiencies, when they do the self-assessment, they're eating healthy foods, but not eating healthy foods for them. It's bio-individual, right? So what works for you is not going to work for your neighbor. And there's also so many other considerations that will affect that. And we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about how to personalize your food plan, the best approach. The best approach is, what is your body telling you, right? There are micronutrient blood chemistry lab tests. So there are two types of tests. There's just the regular test that you get when you have a physical, right? So that measures what's happening in the blood. And that's not always accurate. What you really want is a micronutrient test that is measuring what's happening in the cells, because that's where the that's where you actually metabolize the food. So one of the companies I like is called SpectraCell. There are many companies out there, but I like to recommend those that I have a good relationship with and I know the efficacy of them. So they measure how well your body utilizes the food that you're eating. And it'll let you know like you're good or you're below therapeutic, you're above therapeutic. And so if you have the finances or the resources and or you're experiencing some chronic conditions, you most likely have nutrient deficiencies. This might be something you want to invest in. Having said that, your insurance company may act kind of funny about this. Just saying. Some of them cover, some of them don't. My insurance company did cover it. And I get them about every 2 years for myself, just to make sure that I'm good. So now we're into the second hack, which is improve your digestive health. So let's say you've got this nutrition thing down, you figured out, how to customize your plate for nutrition status to optimize your nutrition. Well, it's not what you eat, it's what your body absorbs and digests, right? So if your digestive system is functioning less than optimally, you're not going to get the healing benefits from those plants. You're actually going to have very expensive food, right? So the idea is to make sure that you, I guess, firm up how well your digestive system is operating. And this is just general information. Gut health is really complicated for a lot of people, but generally, if you do some of the things that I'm going to share with you, it's going to at least, it may not get you to therapeutic, but it'll start to get you there. Let's talk about some top hacks that I share with my clients. I know it sounds basic, chew your food, right? When you were little, your parents told you that, chew your food, chew your food. I'm telling you, it's super important. That is where digestion starts. And many of my clients didn't believe me when I said, I just want you to practice, just take a couple of meals and practice chewing. And they noticed a difference right away. Up to 75% of your digestion takes place in your mouth through the mechanical chewing of the food. Right? There's a lot of stuff that takes place. Your body releases some amylase to break down carbs, maybe a little lipase to break down the fats. The only thing it doesn't break down is certain minerals and also protein, which gets broken down in the stomach. But if you don't chew your food properly, and that food goes down unchewed to a point where it's not small enough for the chemical breakdown to happen, it's like the body's trying to spit on a forest fire. Does that make sense? Because the food is just too large. It's not broken down enough for the body, for the chemical process to take place. So chew your food. So I'm going to read because I think it's important for you to understand this. It sounds basic, but it's very important. There's a loss in nutrient value when your food isn't chewed. If you're chewing 1 or 2 bites and swallowing, it tastes good, but your cells aren't going to see a lot of that. You're going to have very expensive poop if you eat organic. So how many of you swallow your food after 2 chews? Many people do. Poorly chewed food leads to flatulence, indigestion, heartburn, gas, reflux, and IBS. So ideally, you want to chew your food about 32 times or until it turns to pulp in the mouth. Now, you make adjustments for how fibrous the food is or not, but generally experts say about 32 chews is what you need. And I know people are like, are you mad? That is never going to happen in my world. Yeah, it's going to have to happen. So you kind of work your way up starting with 10 chews. If you don't believe this makes a difference, prove me wrong. Do it and prove me wrong. And then write me and tell me, I dare you. Tell me it didn't work for you. So what I also want to do is let you know that to help you do this very important function or get this very important function up to optimal, I am providing you, because you're here and only the people that show up here, those 7 steps to banish bloat and better digestion handbook. It's fully packed, but very compact. It's not 20 pages. I think it's maybe about 10. But there's some drinks to help you if you start to get bloated, to help you minimize the bloat. There's some snacks that won't cause bloating, and some nutrient dense smoothies, because when you have digestive issues, you want your food to be almost fully digested or partially digested. So when you eat soups or smoothies, the food is kind of doing, the smoothie is doing what your teeth would be doing if you weren't lazy or poorly trained. So that's why I provided this to you, because this is super important. Okay, we beat that up. Now let's talk about ways to improve your digestive health by removing toxins. Now, these are the top 3: sugars and processed food, trans and heated fats, and allergens, especially gluten. This may not be new to you guys, But just in case, I'm going to give you a review of why it's important. Now, sugar and processed foods feed our unhealthy gut bugs. And when the unhealthy gut bugs run amok in our bodies, they own us. I mean, we're feeding them, we're serving them at that point, right? It becomes their body and you're the visitor instead of vice versa. Trans and heated fats, they disrupt your omega-3/6 balance, which leads to inflammation. Inflammation, that's pain, and that destroys the gut lining, right? And just in case you don't know what trans and fats are and heated fats, that includes margarine, hydrogenated oils that are found in fried foods, donuts, pizza, cookies, and crackers. I know all the food-like substances that you really love. Allergens cause chronic inflammation that destroys the gut lining. So that could lead to something called leaky gut. And all that means is that food and other particles get into the bloodstream that shouldn't get in there because there's this leaky gut that's going on. The villi that's supposed to be tight is opening up. So the most prevalent allergen is gluten in grains like wheat and rye and barley and spelt and camel. They make it difficult to break down and it causes chronic inflammation. And can result in autoimmune disease. So if any of you are suffering from any type of autoimmune, which is really the body attacking itself because you've got stuff floating in the bloodstream, the body doesn't know it's just undigested food. It just knows it's not supposed to be there. So it kind of attacks itself. Other allergens include dairy, eggs, peanuts, eggs, and soy. Now I'm going to go backwards to go forward and say digestion is very complicated and it's bio-individual. This is just general. For some of you that are experiencing any issues with your gut, you may need to work with a qualified person, that would be me, to really take a good look at how all of your digestive organs are functioning, because they should be working together as a symphony. So if you're not chewing your food, that leads to other problems. Or let's say that you are chewing your food, but your liver isn't functioning properly. So you're not able to process out toxins. So we have to look at your whole digestive system, not just one piece of it. But remember, this is just general information. So if you need additional help, you can reach out to me. And if I can't help you, I will put you in touch with the proper people, because this is so important to make sure you have good digestion. Everything depends. Nutrients can't get where they need to go if you have poor digestion. Did I beat that up? Okay, I think it did. So now we want to improve your digestive gut health. This chart was created by my mentor, Dr. Rita Marie Lascalzo. Everything I know, I learned from her. This woman is a genius. And I've been able to support the healing of a lot of people because of what she has learned. And she has graciously provided this information to help support the practitioners as well as her own patients. She's the founder of the Institute of Nutritional Endocrinology, where I received my training. So these charts show the top everyday foods that heal your gut. So I just want to say, if we're just focusing on digestion, brassicas like broccoli and cabbage, they're a potent gut healer and detoxification inducer. Chicory root contains inulin, which is a prebiotic that supports the healthy gut flora, right? Because you've got all that bad gut flora running amok. So you need to, help the other team run them out. And dandelion is a bitter. It helps stimulate bile, stomach, acid protection. The rest on the list is either helping with the immune system or supports healthy flora, or they're anti-inflammatory. But just so you know, whether you were here or not, even if people are listening to the recording, everybody's going to receive Dr. Rita Marie's Happy Belly checklist so that you can have this information. This is why I love it. I feel like Oprah Winfrey. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car. All right, moving right along. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is talk about balancing your pH, right? So we don't want you to be a junk food vegetarian or vegan, and that's what a lot of my clients that are doing it for the environment or converting because they are pro animal rights. They forget that their health has to be primary, and so they'll start eating junk and say, but I'm a vegetarian because I'm protecting the planet, and their health goes down as a result of that. So they blame it on the vegetarianism, when really it's the choices that they're making, and because their pH balance gets thrown off. And that's where disease lives, in a body that is not balanced. So we don't want you to be a junk food vegetarian. Consuming too many acid foods can weaken your cells. And most of those acid foods come from things that are in a box, or they have labels that you can't pronounce. And that can compromise your health. So if you balance your diet with whole plant foods, it'll keep your cells and your tissues very happy and keep you healthy. So let's talk a little bit about the health benefits of an alkaline plant-based diet. And this is, I've actually taught a whole class on this, and you all have access to that in our Black Veg YouTube library. As a matter of fact, I'll go backwards to go forward. All these areas that I'm talking about, I go into greater detail in separate videos. So you'll get a link to how to get into that. So we have a link specifically for a class that we did for digestion, a link specifically for nutrient imbalance, and then we did a class or webinar specifically related to balancing your alkaline plant-based diet. So we're just doing a drive-by now, just to raise your awareness. So some of you may be familiar with the neutral pH balance. So unlike the standard American diet that has many acid-forming influences, including some animal products, pasteurized dairy, and processed foods, alkaline-forming influences include fruits, vegetables, sprouts, leafy greens, and other whole natural plant foods. They help your body maintain the proper acid-alkaline balance without potentially having to leach minerals from your bones. So the body has to have this tight range of a pH balance. And if it doesn't, because it's designed to keep you alive, not necessarily healthy, but it will start leaching minerals from your bones to balance that acid out, because minerals are what? Alkalizing, right? So it'll start leaching calcium from your bones to support. So you don't want that to happen. You don't want to rob your body of minerals by having your pH balance off. So many doctors stress the importance of reducing acidity and increasing alkalinity with an alkaline diet, because a balanced pH protects us from the inside out. Disease and disorder experts say cannot take root in a body whose pH is balanced. So if your body is very acidic, you're just kind of like a sewer system, right? For all kinds of stuff to happen, like microbes and organisms, they flourish in junk. And so you don't want to provide a place for them to hang out and grow and proliferate and cause you to recycle early. I want you all to be here as long as you want to be here. All right. And I'm trying to get through this so we can answer questions. So here's an alkaline foods chart. I like Dr. Russell Jaffe's alkaline chart guide. And if you really want access to the link to this, you just go to the webinar that talks about this. But I want to give you an idea of how he does this chart. He shows food as either more alkaline or less alkaline, right? So you want to stay as close to the more alkaline. It doesn't mean you don't eat things that are less alkaline, but you want to make sure that you have that right balance. And I found when I gave my clients this chart that they found that even foods that they thought were less alkaline or more alkaline were actually not as alkaline as they thought. And it can go the other way. So for example, you probably have heard lemons are very acidic. Well, they are until they get in your body and they're digested, and through assimilation, they become alkaline. So lemons are very alkaline forming in the body. Likewise, sometimes meat will test as alkaline before you digest it, but it leaves a very acidic residue in the body. So nearly all animal products, like meat, is very acid forming. So it's important to understand from this chart where you stand. So the chart is intended only as a general guide to alkalizing acidifying foods. So here's a pro tip. Most fruits that are not ripe, even if they're showing as mostly alkaline, but if they're not ripe, they can read acidic in the body. So always make sure that your fruit is ripe. Not only because it can cause stomach upset, but it can also throw off your pH balance. All right, let's move on to the next chart. So that's the alkaline food chart. Let's talk about the acid food chart. And you might have some of your favorite foods on here. And again, it's not that you don't eat them, because you don't want to be too alkaline either, but most people are overly acidic. It's just a matter of balancing your plate. So the blood pH has to be kept within a tight range of about 7.36 to 7.44. And an imbalanced diet high in acidic foods such as animal protein, sugar, caffeine, processed food, it puts pressure on this regulating system and makes it difficult for it to maintain its neutrality. So the extra buffering that the body needs can deplete the body of the alkaline minerals, all that good food that you're eating that's storing in the bones, it can deplete it. So like sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, these are all things that can be leached to take care of that. And that makes you prone to disease because you don't have those health promoting minerals. We don't want to put that strain on your body. So generally speaking, foods that are acidic, can contribute greatly to a pH imbalance include high sodium foods, processed grains, too much meat and animal protein, added sugars, and conventional milk. Now, don't feel like you need to avoid plant-based foods that are acidic based on this chart. It's just a matter of balance, right? Just a matter of balance. So Dr. Jaffe says that he likes to make sure that your 60 to 80% of the food comes from the alkaline side, 60 to 80%. You can do that. All right, let's talk about the top principles of eating, just to recap, because I think we went really deep there. You want to eat a variety of whole, fresh, organic, plant-based foods. You want to eat 60% of alkaline forming foods. You want to eat plenty of fiber, and you want to drink plenty of water. So just remember that eating a sufficient level of alkaline forming foods will ensure that you have enough buffer against acid forming foods. So your body, you won't have to rob minerals from your own body. You'll be ingesting the minerals to create that buffer. Eating fiber is going to support the healthy elimination of toxins, which is super important. I think I want to share this with you all, and I'm hoping that everybody by now knows that tap water is not your friend. It's just not safe to drink, right? I think we can all agree, unless you have a filter. We have a filter in our house, so it's clean water now. So you choose to drink water from plastic bottles, right? Because you're thinking, oh, in this clean spring water or distilled water. The problem with that is when water is in a plastic bottle and they keep it out in the sun because it's sitting on a truck, it's in a warehouse where maybe heat's getting to it. There's something called BPA that leaches into the water. And so even that good water is going to throw your pH off because that's acidic at that point. It's toxic. So just make sure that you're aware that when you're drinking the water. But an antidote to that, to getting those really, if you feel like your pH is off, and if you go to the library that we created, when we talk about, it's a whole video or a whole webinar about this, I give you some ideas about how to alkalize your body quickly. You can always drink juices. Green juices are they're gonna alkalize your body very quickly. And if you have digestive issues, you don't have to worry about that because it's gonna go directly into the system. So if you take a test, and I give you a handbook about how to test your pH, and you find that you're mostly acidic, start sucking down those green juices so that you can balance your pH balance and stop eating or drinking the stuff that's going to cause you to have a pH balance that is less than ideal, because I want you to be healthy in your chosen eating of vegan and vegetarian food, and not blame the vegetarian eating for your ill health, but how you're actually using the food. All right, we're coming to the end. We're coming to the end so we can have some questions answered. All right, so these are the resources that you are going to get. Food as Medicine Nutrition Workshop and a food demo. I don't know if you all are familiar with Ruby Lathan. She and I are partners and collaborators in crime, and she's a holistic nutritionist. On the other side of this program, March 24th, she's actually going to do a food demo to teach you how to make good food that will satisfy these three areas of nutrient balance, pH balance, and gut health. But she says, if you register very soon, it's March 24th, if you register soon, you will get the recipes and you can prepare the recipes with her so that if you have any questions, she can answer them in real time. So it's a virtual demo, and she's doing that for us for free. So I hope that you all sign up. The link will be provided in a resource document. And of course, because you're here, you're going to get 7 steps to banish bloat, better digestion handbook, free, just for showing up and staying until the end. Thank you so much. And you get that nutrient status self-assessment. Again, that's going to be in the resources guide. Only thing I ask that when you fill it out, don't judge yourself. It's just information. You don't have to label yourself as I am this deficient. I am vitamin D deficient. You're not the label. It's just information that telling you that you have to take care to balance your body. So be careful not to label yourself. And of course, my mentor, Dr. Rita Marie Lascalzo, we're going to give you her happy belly checklist. You're going to be super impressed with all the information that she provides. She is an actual genius. And then the phytonutrient spectrum foods chart. If you recall earlier, we talked about those phytonutrients are those colors. There are about 7 of them. So this phytonutrient spectrum foods chart not only tells you the colors of the food, the actual plant-based foods that you can eat more of, but it also tells you the health benefits like it's anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, or it helps with bone health. So it's a lot of good information in that one little document. And then I invite all of you to go to the BBS Black Veg Society YouTube channel, because all the information that we have in those 3 areas, I go into greater detail and take an even deeper dive so that you can fully understand. So if you want more information on digestive health, I have at least 2 videos on digestive health. If you want more information on how to balance pH, because this is new to you and you're like, wow, that's new, and I would like to know more, I invite you to go there to the BBS Black Veg channel for our library of information. I think you're going to find it very helpful. Finally, well, not finally, but the last 2 things, a vegan journal. You get a free 12-month subscription. Here's the catch. You got to complete a survey. That's the only way we're going to give it to you. So I just talked to Naja Wright Brown. She's the CEO of Black Veg, and she said, I'm going to be sending a list out on Monday. So if they want to start their journal, their subscription Monday, they need to fill out the survey today. So if you get it back to me by 5 p.m., we're going to get you the link. You'll get your subscription to the vegan journal for 12 whole months, chock full of information and events. And then finally, going vegan. So if you are a seasoned person, or even if you're not a seasoned person, you're saying, yes, I really want to do this going vegan. I want to try it, but I don't want to do it without supervision or without support. Dr. Ruby Lathan and I created this Going Vegan 28-day Go Vegan recipe guide. Only $67. It's really valued at much more than that, but we price it so that people won't let finances keep them from doing it. So here's what you're going to get. You get a vegetarian or vegan. You can convert things to vegan if you want to, but it's mostly vegetarian recipe guide with 40 vegan snacks on the go, an expert developed food and lifestyle program. So it's not just about the food. Vegetarianism and veganism is a lifestyle. You're going to get frequently asked questions, because we know what people always ask. So that's going to be included in there. You'll get a vegetable cooking method guide. I can't tell you how many people say, I have these vegetables, I don't know how to prepare them. So we have some really good recipes for that. We talk about the top vegan protein guide. I don't know how many times people have asked me, where do you get your protein from? Never have to ask that again once you go to this guide. And then we have general supplementation information. We know the supplementation is based on individual needs, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you what to do or not to do, but we have a few of our favorites that we know support overall health and wellness. And finally, if you're saying, I need help, Dr. Ruby Lathan is available for one-to-one coaching. She's a holistic nutritionist and a genius at helping people be healthy and happy. And then finally, everyone who registered, remember that you're going to be eligible to participate in the raffle, and it's a healthy vegetarian recipe starter guide. It's a raffle that we do online, so there's no cheating, and we post that in our blog, so you get to see who won. The winner will receive notice within 7 days. Whew, that was a lot. I kind of sped through that. Now, this is the part of the program that is just for you. Questions, comments, storytelling, I'm all about it. Anybody have any questions? Tasha probably sent me something. I prefer to talk to people. So if you want to raise your hand and get unmuted, we can certainly do that. No questions? Tasha, did I miss any? Just let me know.
No, there were some comments that I put in the document.
Okay.
But no questions. I don't see any hands raised either virtually or physically.
All right. Okay, this is the time when I get to call people out a little bit. What was the most impactful thing? Because you came here, you stayed to the end. What was the most impactful thing you learned today? Or didn't learn? Or want to know more about?
We are now getting some questions in the chat.
All right, that's what we're talking about. So if I stop this share, will they be able to see my face? Can they see?
Yeah, they can already see your face. I have you spotlighted.
Oh, good, good, good. So I know you sent it to me here. So comments, I'm looking at Angela. I'm going to use your name unless you said something that's offensive to the rest of the free world. She said, woohoo about the webinar offers. Thank you for your nice comments. Althea, what a beautiful name. Very nice. Thank you about the webinar offers. Yes. And thanks to our sponsors who believe in what we do. Dee Braddock said, thank you, thank you, thank you. We have hi from the UK. Oops. So we talked about those technical difficulties. My phone is now acting goofy. Let's see. We have Rhonda from the UK. Hi from the UK. Hi, Rhonda. And let's see. Thank you for all you do. That was from Garnetta. Thank you so much for showing up. Tiffany, that's a very unusual spelling of your name. I love it. It works. Chewing your food works. Yes, chew your food. Let's see. Ruby says, good morning. Good morning. It must be morning where you are. It's afternoon where we are. So many answers here. Sylvie says, wow, so many resources. I hope you use them. Knowledge is power. Empowering is putting them into action. And we didn't want anything to stand between you and that. And then we have a comment from Leslie, who's from Canada, who says, we're lucky in Canada. Our water system is great. You are lucky. Our water system here sucks. So yeah, unless you get a filter, an actual filter. Thank you for the valuable information and resources. And that would be from Cheryl. Let's see what else. My phone is acting goofy. And Valerie says, thank you for the resources. And then when someone else says, great class, thank you. I want to make sure Ruby, I want to give a shout out to Ruby. Great class. Thank you so much. Loaded with lots of information. Okay. So now I think we're getting into the part where people are starting to ask questions. So Sarah, your question was, do you need to have a supplement? Do you need to have supplements? That's a loaded question. So in this society, there are a couple of reasons you might need supplements. If you're eating conventional food or conventionally grown food, the soil is deficient. And so you're really not getting the nutrients that you need. So that's part of why you might need to supplement. The other part is what you're actually taking in. If you're not taking in enough supplement, enough food to support your health, then you may need to supplement. The third reason to supplement is if you have a chronic condition and you're below therapeutic, you would need to supplement. The idea is food is medicine. To the extent that you can, always use food first, supplements second. Now, having said that, there are supplements out there that almost at this day and age, most people will need to do. Vitamin D is one of them, because all of us are cave dwellers now. We're deficient in vitamin D. And we know, unless you've been living in a cave forever, you now know the importance of vitamin D to support health overall. Vitamin D has a receptor for every cell in the body. So it's important from building your eyes to your immune system. So you need to make sure that your vitamin D is a certain level. Again, supplementation is very individual. Here's another supplement in this day and age, because of what we're going through, a pandemic, vitamin C is super important, right? So you're gonna make sure your vitamin C is up to a certain level. So it's individual. And if anyone wants to know more information about supplementation, there's 2 videos or 2 webinars that I did on nutrition. Should I supplement, should I not? I invite you to go to that, because they're gonna give you way more information and it'll help you individualize it instead of speaking generally. Can I talk about insulin resistance? Let's see. I can, but who asked that question? Valerie, but I'd like you to be more specific. What would you like to know about insulin resistance? Because I could stay here for a whole hour and talk about it. So if you give me a little bit more to go on, I can help you. I can say the insulin resistance comes from too much sugar in your blood, right? So your body becomes resistant to developing the insulin to escort it into the cells. And so when you have that insulin resistance, you're going to end up with the body storing fat, because all that sugar has to go somewhere if it can't go into the cells. So you become a fat storing machine. And if your body, if the insulin isn't being escorted out of the cells because it's just too much sugar and the insulin can't work together, it makes your cells sticky, make your blood cells very sticky. And that will lead to blood pressure issues and also heart issues. That's generally speaking. So
She did just post a follow-up. In
mhm.
general, can it be transverse on plant-based diets?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to say here and say I think everything can be reversed on a plant-based diet. So where you are with your health is a result of food and lifestyle. So it stands to reason that it can be reversed with food and lifestyle, right? So yeah, and I have supported many people in reversing blood sugar issues. So yes, it can be. And if you use Outgoing Vegan, that was one of the things that one of the wonderful side effects. One of our clients bought that program with she was excited about just going vegan. She wasn't expecting anything else. And after 28 days of the recipes, she was able to get off her medication with her doctor's support, obviously, because she was able to control her blood sugar. How about that? So not selling the program, but selling the concept. My phone is still acting goofy. Cheryl.
You can also stop sharing your screen if you want to just pull up the document on your computer.
That would be best. Thank you so much. See, this is why she's here. I get so caught up in the, there we go. Yay! I think I'm going to pull it up because it would be easier for me. And
I'm going to post the survey link again.
Okay, great.
For everyone.
You created another document, you said.
Yeah, I relinked it on your document.
Oh, you relinked it on the document? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Yep.
There we go, yay, much better. All right. Much easier to work with. Okay, what was the name of the test? Cheryl, what test were you talking about there? There are several. So the SpectraCell was the micronutrient test, and then there was the self-assessment test, which is really just a document where you just look at your body and say, yep, I'm feeling that, and you check it off. So the SpectraCell is the blood test, if that's what you were looking for. And Yella, I don't want to mispronounce your name, says, thanks so much for the useful information. Thank you for showing up. I really appreciate you. Sarah says, sorry, I missed the start. This is brilliant. You can always listen to the recording, Sarah, so no worries. Kathleen said 60% alkaline, good to know. It is good to know because it doesn't have to be all or nothing, right? You don't have to shoot for perfection. Tiffany, great class. Removing 3 toxins to improve digestive health. So Tiffany, I'm hoping that you will remove all 3 of those toxins, or at least one. Sounds like you're going to remove all 3. So AP says, what are some of the better alkaline waters, especially alkaline spring water, best brands? I don't get into brands. I get more into the type of bottling it comes into. So if it's a BPA-free bottle, that's fine. You have to do your own research on the efficacy of these companies. So I can't tell you best brands. When I was drinking that type of water, I always liked Smart Water, and I can't, because we have a whole house water filter. So I also have a Berkey. I have a Berkey water filter. So I put water into the Berkey and it's just delicious. So I can't really make recommendations in a really meaningful way for you about that, except to tell you to do research. So Felissa says, how much is the micronutrient blood chemistry lab test? It ranges. When I did it, it was $400. So they're pricey, but again, your insurance company may pay for it. I recommend it if you have a chronic condition, or if you just converted to vegan and vegetarianism and you're not sure about your health status, or your blood test is looking kind of wonky. I would suggest that. Also, I do it every 2 years just to know my own status. So Grace says, thank you very much, would love breakfast ideas. Well, Grace, if you were here from the very beginning, that you will have some recipes in that banish bloating. If not, you will have access to buying the Going Vegan guide that has many recipe ideas for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So don't you worry about that. We've got you. And if all else fails, I say a smoothie does a body good. Because first of all, you're handling 3 things at once. You're getting a nutrient-dense meal. That's hack number 1. Digestion is not an issue unless you're allergic to something in it, because it's almost pre-digested, and it's pH balanced. So it's a 3-fer. Let's see, Nikki, for Hashimoto's disease, plant-based medicine has helped. I'm so happy to hear that. That's good to know. That's a thyroid issue. Is there anything more specific that I may need to address? So Nikki, I have to know you as a person before I give that kind of information out. So I'm here to educate and support you, but I cannot treat, diagnose, or cure anything. If you want to become a client, then reach out to me at Tony@trueselftotalhealth.com, and we'll set up a little 20, 30-minute discussion so I can support you. I appreciate and love what you're doing so far with plant-based dieting, and I understand that you want to know what else you can do. So there are certain lifestyle things that you can do to support the curing of your Hashimoto's. Okay, so thank you for that. Cheryl Diggs says, what was the name of the micronutrition blood test? So there are many out there, but the one that I like is SpectraCell. And if you go to their website, SpectraCell, they tell you all about it. They tell you how to find a physician or a doctor that will administer it and all that stuff. Sylvie says, I have lots of bottled spring water. Can I put it in through a filter? Would be good to drink it then. Well, it depends. So if it's been sitting in the sun, BPA, and it has toxins in it, I don't know. The Berkey water filter may filter out those toxins. I just don't know, but I'd say it's better than not doing it. So let's see if it helps. Yeah. Grace says, any goiter food directions? I'm not going to help you with that, Grace, because that's a specific question that you're asking about your health, and I want to keep you safe. So you feel free to reach out to me at Tony@trueselftotalhealth.com. And I will answer your questions in a way that keeps you safe. But I have to know you better as a person before I start giving education or information that may put you in harm's way, okay? Because I want to keep you safe. Yvonne says, what are your suggestions for transitioning to a vegan or vegetarian from eating meat, small changes at a time, go all in? It depends on you. I've had clients take one small change at a time, like they take one meal and say, well, this meal is going to be my vegetarian meal, and they'll do that for several weeks, and then they'll do another meal, or they'll just add more veggies. So it depends on you. And some of my clients like to go to the deep end of the pool because they said, I can't mess around with this. I got to go to the deep end, as long as they have the information that they need. So those clients that go to the deep end usually use the Going Vegan program because it's 28 days. You don't have to think about it. It has a shopping list. It has all the questions answered for you, and also has support from Ruby or myself. So it just depends. It depends. It's very individualized, very much like diet and lifestyle. Will boiling water from the bottle help? Okay, so I'm going to give you a little lesson about toxins in water. So the reason that people are told not to put pills and things in the water system is because they're mineral. They can be mineral based. So minerals you can't destroy minerals with heat. They can only be like transversed. So minerals can't be destroyed by heat, and I believe certain other things can't be destroyed by heat. I'm not sure. Now, that's good, better, best. I'm not a water filtration expert, but there are many companies out there that if you ask that question would be able to help you, like Rain Soft. is a question, is a company that I know would answer that question. EWG. .org. It's a nonprofit organization, so they're not in anybody's pockets. They can answer questions about water safety and all that. EWG. The Environmental Working Group, I think is what it's called. So start there first for any research you want to do. Is soy not good and why? Asians have very little cancer in high soy diet. There's no there's literature that supports both soy and non-soy. Absolutely. So soy in and of itself is not, has been labeled bad for a couple of reasons. Number one, because it tends to be very GMO'd. So it's genetically modified, and that you don't want that in your body. The second is that Asians tend to eat a small amount of it, and we go big or go home, right? So we eat a lot of it, and so it can throw us off. Finally, soy, a small amount, assuming you're not allergic, that's fermented, helps about, it's easier for digestion. So I guess you have to test on yourself based on that information what works best for you. Always eat a little bit and let your body tell you. Your body will tell you, you just have to pay attention. So if you eat a little soy and you get a big old belly, soy ain't your friend. Just saying. Yeah. I hope I answered that question. Let's see. How do you know if if you are insulin resistant? Yeah, there's a test for that. You can actually find out if you're insulin resistant by a simple blood test that your doctor can give you. And they do a glucose test, a fasting glucose, and there's a certain range that you need to fall within. And if you fall outside that range, you most likely have blood sugar dysregulation issues. And there's also something called an A1C. They typically don't do that in a standard test unless your glucose level is off the chain, and then they'll do it. And the A1C measures your ability to manage blood sugar over several months as opposed to a one time or one off. So if you have a standard blood test, look at the range. You should be in the not in the standard range, but you want to be in the healthy range, the optimal range. So yes, testing will definitely do that for you. Are there any concerns with plant-based meat products? Oh my goodness, and how they are processed? Yes. So it's probably not a popular thing to say as a vegetarian. I'd rather have people eat real meat than to eat some of that packaged stuff because it's full of soy and all kinds of other stuff. But if you're going to eat meat, make sure it's clean, grass-fed, the whole bit. Be very careful with those meat alternatives because again, it's just packaged crap. There are some safer versions out there, so I'm not here to endorse any. I'm just saying read the label. Fatima says, thanks for a great presentation. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here. Ruby says, in the survey link, is the booklet free when they ask for your address? Yes, we need your mailing address because it is actually a hard copy journal, not a digital journal yet. Hopefully they'll get to making that a digital journal. So yes, that's why we need your address. No one will stalk you though, I promise. We'll keep it safe. Let's see, Althea Skeet say, is it necessary to drink alkaline water? Well, it depends on why you're asking. So many of my clients say, well, should I drink alkaline water to make myself more alkaline? Well, just eat alkaline food. Not to say there's anything wrong with alkaline water, but if you just eat a balanced diet, you'll be fine. But if you happen to like the taste of alkaline water and you want that for extra insurance, I'm saying go for it. Yeah, I won't say no. Which wearables do you recommend for markers? Fatima, I'm not sure what you mean by markers. Wearables for markers. Oh, you mean like testing, like for your nutrition? I like the chronometer. I don't know if that's a wearable yet, but you can put your information about what you're eating every day. They even have certain popular products like, oh gosh, like some of those processed protein powders and all that. They even have that in there, all the popular brands. But if you put that information in, it'll tell you what your nutrient status is, not just your calories and your macros, but your micros. So you get to know, well, wow, today I had 1,800 calories. And that in and of itself is okay, but really my nutrient status was I got all my minerals in. So I like chronometer for that. I hope that was the question that you asked. If I did not answer a question properly, you can always reach out to me. Please know I get a lot of email I try to return emails within 24 business hours, but it may take about 48 after an event like this. And yeah, Maria Gomez says, how true is it that eating fruit and vegetables for dinner is not helpful? I don't know. I don't know why you would think it's not helpful. I'm not sure where that source comes from. It could possibly not be not helpful if you have blood sugar dysregulation, and you may need to balance your blood sugar before you can eat fruit willy-nilly. Or so I'm not sure what that question means. So if you want to give me a little bit more information to help you, that'd be great. Sylvie says, thanks for the info. You're so very welcome. Thanks for being here. Cheryl says, is boiling water and filtering good? We already answered that, I think. Again, there's a good, better, best approach. If you can, it's based on your budget. If you can afford a whole house water filter, that way, you know, you don't shower in dirty water and all that, that's good. Like, you know, I'm good, better, best. So that's the best. You can also get a Berkey water filter, which I purchased because it tastes good. And that's about a $300 investment. And you only have to replace the filters maybe once a year. The water is delicious. Even has a test. You can test whether or not the water is clean. I love the Berkey water filter. And of course, you can get water from Whole Foods and places like that. Just make sure that it's in a BPA-free bottle. I feel like I opened up a whole wormhole there with the water. So that's good. What do you think about eating? Cheryl asked again, what do you think about eating only veg and fruit for 1 month each year to clean your system? Depends on you. I'd have to get to know you as a person. It certainly would not hurt, generally speaking. It would not hurt, right? Many people do detoxification and that's all they eat of fruits and vegetables. Some people do smoothies for detoxification that includes fruits and vegetables and some healthy fats. But I would say, I would have to get to know you as a person to see if that is right for you. Because here's what I will tell you: if you have any, if you're starting a detox or cleanse with any deficiencies, any therapeutically low deficiencies, we want to make sure that whatever you do in the way of fruits and vegetables, that you're eating to support that. Right? It's not a starvation or deprivation. It's really supposed to help you. It's supposed to flood your body with nourishment to support the detoxification. I hope that makes sense. What are your thoughts on juice cleanses? I think they're excellent, but again, it depends on you, the person, right? So many people do just fruit juices. I'm not a big fan of just fruit juices. That's taking all the like those fruits and stripping away the fiber, and the fiber is what slows down the rush, and it can cause blood sugar imbalances. But I'm a bigger fan of green juices with just a little bit of sugar. Right, so maybe 80% greens and 20% sugar, because again, that's like going directly into your blood system, jacking up your can jack up your glucose and cause blood sugar imbalances. So yeah, but I'd have to get to know you as a person to see if that's right for you. But I'm a big fan of them, especially if your alkaline acid balance is really off. It's a good way to restore balance and stop the body from leaching minerals to restore that balance. Okay, Marlene says, what are the 2 top alkaline vegetables you recommend? You know, they're all good, but I love me some kale. Kale is just one of my favorites. Any green leafy vegetables, those are tops. Any green leafy vegetables are going to be the top of the food chain for me. Having said that, I would invite you to look at the Healthy Belly checklist, and you will see some of the wonderful green vegetables that are recommended for healing the gut, if that's what you're using it for. If you're interested in knowing, looking at that chart that Dr. Jaffe put together, you can just Google him and you can see that chart, and you'll see on the chart where greens go from the further end to the outer end of alkalinity. All right, so it's not a matter of just eating you want you to enjoy your food and have a variety of foods. It's just make sure that it's totally balanced and not too heavy in the acidic range. I hope I answered that. Wow. Yvonne, I asked you, what did you learn? What I didn't know. I learned that basically whatever I'm putting into my mouth is causing me to build up or break down. Yeah, let's say it again for the people in the back that didn't hear it. It's true. It's true. It's true. Food is either building you up or breaking you down. It has no neutral effect, not at all. So everything you're eating is a choice to promote health or promote illness. Thank you, Yvonne, for that. Valerie Kelly says, I'm impactful about testing for sensitivity of foods. Yes, I think if you have a physician that you're working with, then you should absolutely do that. If you feel like, so how will you know if you have sensitivities? If you bloat every time you eat that food, or if your blood sugar shoots up, or if your blood pressure acts wonky, foods that you used to be able to eat that you can't eat anymore. And food sensitivities can also come from leaky gut, because a lot of the solid foods, it's just leaking into the bloodstream. And so you can develop sensitivity to foods that were used to be really good for you. And also, if you eat the same foods over and over and over again, apparently the body is smarter than we are. It will say, let me make you allergic to this, so you'll eat something different. So there are many reasons for that. So do take a sensitivity test, contact your physician if that's what you think you need. Impactful about testing of foods cannot digest. Yes, I think, so I would start with chewing your food first and seeing if that makes a difference. Because sometimes it's just you're not chewing your food, but do get a test if you think you need to. But your own body is a test. Pay attention, be intuitive about it. Sylvie says, I was surprised about bottled water. I've been drinking bottled spring water. So I'm not going to demonize, Sylvie, your bottled spring water. I'm just going to say, if you go to EWG site, I think they tell you what the BPA rating should be. So every bottle has a BPA rating. You want the clean one, right? You don't want the one that if heat hits it, it's going to leach into the water. Because that's when you can take a really good thing that you're doing for yourself and turn it into a really bad thing. So just pay attention to the bottle. Many companies now, with the exception of the cheaper water bottles, like anything you get from, I don't want to be sued by the larger companies, but places that end in Mart sometimes will sell you water in bottles that, you can almost tell the bottle's not clean. Last question. A few minutes over. Thank you. We're going to have to end after this. Cheryl Diggs, what is happening when you become sleepy after eating? A couple of things. You've eaten a lot of food that has amino acids that cause you to be sleepy, or your blood sugar went up and then went down. It crashed. So those are the two reasons that you can become sleepy. All right. Wow. So we started with nobody asking questions to everybody asking questions. So we're at the end of our presentation. Thank you all so very much. I appreciate you. Don't forget to do those, to do the surveys. Why? Because we get funded based on comments that we receive from you all. So if they think I'm doing a good job, they'll keep funding me to do this. Otherwise, this will be done donation based, which is still okay, right? Don't forget to take advantage of the resources. Do go to our library, especially DPS, because it has a wealth of information. I have so many videos that I have in there from webinars I've done in the past. I think about 20 or 30 of them. And don't forget Ruby. Ruby is an absolute genius. She's a food genius and alchemist, and she will be doing a food as medicine virtual demo on Thursday evening. Check it out. Download the recipes and play along with her. Final thoughts? Special extra resource for staying. Yeah, we're here until 3:15 because I always mention 75 minutes. So we still have a few more minutes, but I'm going to do a hard stop at the 15 after the hour mark. All right. Where do I find Ruby? If you go to that link in the resources page, I'm sure that Tasha has already shared with you guys that her link is first, and it'll take you a link to her to the webinar she's doing, but then you'll have access to her page and all the wonderful things that she's doing. We collaborate quite a bit in this realm of helping people stay healthy, eating plant-based or plant-centered. And Tasha is helping us in the background. I'm not even paying attention. Any other questions? Tasha, maybe you can read them out loud because I am burnt out from reading. Is there anything else?
Yeah, most of everything else is just comments that are on here. saying how much people enjoyed this.
Hey.
I have been posting the link multiple times with the survey, all of the resources, and Tony's site, as well as her email.
Yes.
So
yes.
everything is there in the chat. And I tried to find other links. I also found the link to that food chart you were talking about with Dr.
Wow.
Russell. I don't know where you mentioned it was somewhere, but because I only help with the webinars, I don't actually know where that lives. So I found a site and I just posted that in the chat, and I will put that in here again if you want that chart.
Thank you. Shout out to Tasha. Yes. We really appreciate you. Thank you all so very much. I'm passionate, in case you haven't heard it. So if if I was reading fast or going fast, because this is what I want to do. I want to have this interaction and engagement with you. Don't forget, again, the survey is not just to tell us what we're doing right. We also want to make sure that these are great webinars for everybody. So if we invite comments, nicely stated, where we could do better, because we want to be better. Don't be mean. Don't be mean. Okay. Anything else anybody want to share with me about your personal journey? How many of you are, my speed was perfect, thank you. How many of you are wannabes? That means you're kind of plant leaning, but you're not quite there yet. Any wannabes out there? All right, best about wannabes. Whoop, 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 whoop. You're in the right place. Keep plant leaning. Keep plant leaning. You can't go wrong with that. How many people are hardcore vegans? Raise your hand. Or so of the hardcore vegans, if anybody wants to represent the hardcore vegans, did you learn anything new here that was life-changing for you? It was like, it was a good review. Who wants to represent the hardcore vegans? Give me a shout out.
Julia is vegan, at least posted in the chat.
All right. Okay. So got some hands up. How many are vegetarian? That means, you're not vegan, you're not hardcore, but you're still plant-centered and animal friendly. All right. All right. So did you learn anything that is going to keep you on the track? Did anybody learn anything that's going to take them off the track? That's what I care about too. Does anybody feel like what you learn is going to keep you on the vegan, vegetarian, or plant-centered or plant-leaning? I really like that term better. I don't really like labels, because you're not going to get nutrients. You're going to get nutrients secondhand through an animal. And again, if you want to eat animals, just make sure it's clean. You're not getting all that, other residue that you don't want to get from animals, like hormones and all that. And remember, you don't need a whole lot of meat to live, right? Like in the center of your palm is all you need. You want the plate to be mostly green vegetables or red vegetables, and then the meat is not the star. So I'm not demonizing anybody that's eating it. I'm just saying this, everything's in balance, everything balanced, everything in balance. So unless there's anything else anybody wants to say, and Tasha will tell me if I missed anything, because like I said, I'm burnt out from reading right now. My eyes are like fried. I'm not reading anything else, but I am open to comments if you want to open up your mic.
So I'm going to make it, if anybody wants to ask anything, I'm going to ask all of you to unmute. So if you have a question or you just want to say goodbye or thank you, you now have that ability.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is amazing.
Enjoy.
This was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Greatly
much. You
appreciate
answered
it.
all of my questions. Thank you.
This was amazing.
My heart is full. Make sure that you join Black Bag one way or the other so that you have this information when we have our next webinar. Because right now, we're not funded yet for this year. So anything we do will be donation based until we get funding, but I want to make sure you don't miss any, okay? All right. Shout out again to Ms. Tasha for keeping us all straight. And this is not an easy job. Trust me, in the background, not an easy job. All right, guys, have a happy rest of your Saturday wherever you are.
You too.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You
bye.
too.
Tasha,
Nice
you
meeting
can go
you.
to the site directly, the survey site directly.
Yes, can you email me my?
Say it again.
I just posted the survey link, just the direct link, so you can click on it.
Where?
So that should open. I just put it in the chat.
Okay.
And what about the next class?
We are not funded yet I sent in some information to our funders that typically help us, and we haven't gotten a thumbs up yet. If we don't get a thumbs up by June, we will have the class anyway, and we'll ask you guys to donate $5, $10 if this is really meaningful to you, because it's really difficult to get funders in this day and age. People with a lot of the tragedies happening in the world, understandably, money is being spread many, many places. So we're hoping that we'll get funded. Your comments will help. All right, is that it for real? Because we got 1 minute, for real though. This is it. Bye.